Hello everyone, I'm David01, and welcome back to another video on the road to Drilling Thunder slash 1.0 slash Chapter 2. Yes, the 3-in-1 update. Today, I have decided that I wanted to make a bingo card for what might be coming in this large update. And so, you can see the one I've created here, my own little watermark on it, in case you've seen this passed around the internet. I am the original creator of this. And I have it loaded up here in Krita because I'm going to talk about every one of these items on here and how likely I think they are to actually appear. And we'll see how many of these predictions come true with an update video in a couple months' time. I say a couple months because some of these, I won't get to immediately. Alright, first up, a fix for the suspension glitch. I know this is something my friend PopTech would like quite a lot. However, I'm going to put this as a most likely not going to happen. I think it's kind of unlikely that they decide to fix the suspension glitch. They have said that they would not. It would be pretty annoying too. I see both sides of this argument. It is extremely useful. At the same time, it does make any kind of off-road vehicles a lot more annoying and finicky to build. I think if this were to be implemented, a fix, you would have to all the old suspension parts get deprecated and just, call them old suspension and hide them from the inventory by default, and then make a new suspension part with fixed scripting. So that way, all old creations will still work with suspension glitch for stabilization and steering and stuff, and new ones would work properly. That would be probably the best solution, but even then, I don't think the devs are really prioritizing suspension glitch, for better or for worse. Next up is voice chat. A lot of games have a proximity chat feature built in nowadays. I'm not really sure if Axelot's going to add this. I don't think it's high on their priorities. We've never seen anything like that in there. Though with the new mouth animations for the mechanic, perhaps this is possible. But I don't really see it being a huge thing that they're going to implement. Next up are propellers for boats. I think these are actually decently likely. We could have some kind of hidden hydrodynamic or perhaps even aerodynamics as well feature in the update, though I would not consider it a guarantee or even a likely. I think this is about 50% chance for this to show up in the update or to not show up. It really depends on how much they want to go and reveal stuff or not reveal stuff before the update, like how water was not teased at all. Then we have a good farmbot NPC. I would be extremely surprised if there wasn't some kind of, nice farm bot that we could interact with. So I'm going to count this one off as our first nearly guaranteed. Alright, next up we have the farmer cars being added to survival. By that I mean these DevBlog 8 vehicles, these kind of delivery ones with a similar logo. The parts of these are in the files. I think that there is a pretty good chance, so I'm going to give them a little bit less than the good farmbot NPC, but I think these are very likely to be added to survival mode as well. Next up ends with the repaired ship. Another one that I think this would be the thing before your end credits, or you get the ship repaired and stuff. So I think this is also about as likely as a good farmbot NPC. Challenge mode is broken. Now this one is a reference to, if you know, you know, from when survival mode first released, challenge mode was completely broken for a couple months, and they had to release an update to fix it. I think that there is about a 50% chance for this as well, just like previously, so I'm going to implement my little thing for this. There we go. Propane station added. I've seen a detailed analysis, and apparently this is actually hidden in the background, one of those shots, so I'm going to say this is very likely. And this is one of those things mentioned from the dev blogs. Now, the best parts being survival only. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, for a long time after survival mode released, many of the coolest parts could actually only be found in survival mode. Even today, still things like the locker, the filing cabinets, the oily toilet seat, along with many other good parts are survival only or are really hidden in creative mode. So, I do think that at least at the beginning, many of the neatest parts are not even going to come into creative mode. Hopefully we at least get things like the turret seat and sticky wheels, but remember how long it was before we had water in creative mode? Now, all of these lighting and engine upgrades we've seen are almost certainly going to come with a performance requirement increase, and I think that means that many players with older hardware are going to be spec'd out of the game. So very unfortunately, I am going to list this as possible. Likely to happen even. So I do think we're going to be seeing players with like GTX 5 and 700 series cards, perhaps 900 even, perhaps even some of the low-end 10 series cards getting either spec'd out of the game completely or into the realm of barely playable. I'm thinking around the line of like 25 FPS. I am very scared with what this will do to my frame rate. I really don't want this game to end up like Satisfactory, where, yeah, sure, it looks gorgeous with UE5, but it's unplayable on my system where it used to run perfectly fine before. And speaking of imitating other games, Axolot published Raft and assisted minorly developing it. Axolot has made Scrap Mechanic entirely themselves. Is it that unlikely for there to be a Raft-style villain that's controlling all the farm bots and making them evil? Perhaps they were the person that hijacked them originally? Perhaps a disgruntled farmer or something? And judging by this one little screenshot of the trailer, that could be the evil farmer riding on the back of that trash bot there and controlling him and egging him on. So I'm going to list this one as another plausibility. I think that there is a good chance that this could happen. Controller support. This is another one that I think is coming, actually, pretty well, because the game has had some hints of perhaps being Steam Deck compatible, which would mean that controller support needs to be added. And it's not too difficult, especially for something like this, so I think that that's pretty good. Obviously, free is guaranteed on this, so we'll go give that a check mark. A jetpack part. Personally, I don't really think they're going to add a jetpack. I think it breaks the game a little too much and removes much of the importance of actually building things for yourself. So I think a jetpack will not be coming in the update. Voice acting!
I think I got it.
Well, based on the straggler voice lines and many other things, I think this is likely to be added to the game. Not just mumbling, but I don't think the main characters will have voice lines, but I do think the trader and some of the other NPCs we meet will have some voice lines.
Will I get a voice?
In a similar vein as the best parts being survival only, the best tiles being survival only, this is almost certainly a guarantee, even more than the part one, because even now most of the best tiles are found only in survival mode, and you have to hack them out of the files if you want to get like warehouses in creative mode. And of course, Axolot has a tendency to not update many things and kind of leave them, very outdated relics, like the handbook. So do I think the coming soon icon in the creative mode menu will still be there? The answer to that one is yes, but not a definite, but I do think that it's likely that that will be there. Do I think it will be delayed? I do not think this will be delayed. It is yes, this is Axolot, so anything is possible. However, they have set, they have not previously really broken hard, to the day deadlines before. So this isn't something like saying, oh yeah, we were confident we're going to get out in the first half of 2026. This is, we are releasing it on July 24th, 2026. So I don't think it's going to be delayed. Will the story's ending be finished though? I'm going to list this one as a bit of a could be either way kind of thing. It may end on a cliffhanger, or it may tease a future update, or perhaps a Scrap Mechanic 2. I really don't know. But I think I think it's more likely they will wrap up the ending at least to something kind of satisfying, as opposed to how it is with the current survival. Customizable spud guns. We've seen them teased before. However, then they said they weren't adding them, and we currently don't have anything like that. This is another one I would say is probably unlikely to happen. I'm sorry, but I just don't think they're... While I would love to see it, I would not count on this being there, but I think it's more plausible than something like the jetpack. Image texture tool. Yes, being able to upload custom images to use as textures. I can see no potential for misuse or performance issues with that at all. And this is obviously speculation by that one mural of the axolotl flying around. I don't really think this is actually going to be added, but perhaps I'm wrong. I'm going to put this as a unlikely. And let's get this right there. Next up, new biomes that were not seen in the devlog. I think that this is moderately likely. I think we'll probably see at least one new biome. Game-breaking bugs on day 1. This is Axolot. This is going to happen. Now, I mean, with how long of a gestation period Chapter 2 has had, I'm going to be nice and drop it down a little bit. An early access supporter bonus. I don't know if this is actually going to be... Axolot doesn't really seem like that kind of studio. And I mean, unless you count that farmer hat glitch where you can't unlock it anymore, I don't really think they'd lean too heavy on an early access supporter bonus. Maybe we get some kind of cosmetics, but I wouldn't count on this. And then finally, new bots that we're not seeing in the devlog, which I also think is a little bit likely. So overall here, do I have any bingos? Well, right now, not really. My closest would be farmer cars, the best parts being survival only, free, coming soon, and the image texture tool. However, one of these I don't think is likely. We'll see how well this turns out, and on this row right here, all we need is the jetpack. All we need is challenge mode to break for this row. And all we'd need is customizable spud guns for that row. So really, anything is possible here. Or the story ending and well, that one's not too likely. Well, this was just a fun little video talking about what could be. I'd like to see your thoughts on what you think is likely on this. And thanks for watching. I'm David01. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye! And remember, only 13 more days remain until Drilling Thunder releases. Make sure to back up all your save files, worlds, mods, and creations, because it is arriving soon. And it will change everything.